So let's take a look. So we'll discuss briefly solution. The first question was pretty straightforward, RAGZRS. And it was all you needed to show was what is RAGZRS, right? तो यहाँ पे there is a read access. ये तीन कॉपी साथ बनी हुई हैं. इसमें दो फिगर्स थी. You could have drawn any one of them. It's fine. This one I like it. It's a little bit more clear. But both are fine. Both are perfectly fine. ठीक है. ये तीन डिफरेंट डेटा सेंटर्स में की कॉपी है. ये एक डेटा सेंटर में तीन कॉपीज हैं. Right. Here are brief benefits. This is straight from the notes. ठीक है. And the second part was, but again, I asked for brief explanation. A lot of people wrote one page, half page. You just need to draw, I mean, few lines. What are the benefits of this thing, right? What it is doing, right? तो आपको पता हो आपने इसको किस लिए इस्तेमाल करना है. That is the intent. And last but not least, storage account, why they need to be unique. क्योंकि उनका जो नाम है, it becomes part of the URL. URL cannot be identical, so that's why it forces you to have a globally unique name, right? Usage of blob access tiers. इसमें again, a lot of people put many different things. Nothing was needed. Usage is के hot tier जो है, that is used or optimized for storing data that is accessed frequently. Cool storage, it's optimized for data that is infrequently accessed and stored for at least 30 days. यानी कि एक महीने में आप एक दफ़ा एक्सेस कर रहे हो उसको. ठीक है. और ये मैंने आपको बताया था, if anybody remembers, it's not that you can access more than that, but there is a cost, right? और अगर इसको दो चार दफ़ा कॉस्ट इसको एक्सेस करोगे कूल टियर को, then the cost is high enough that you might as well convert it to hot tier. ठीक है. So make sure you're using it very infrequently during the month. Or archive is also same thing, right? There's a cold tier also that says 90 days, and now there's archive. I need to update the slides. But anyway, idea is that Microsoft gives you lower SLA, lower service offering. You save cost on these things, right? But you keep the data there. That is the important thing, right? So, and then the blob lifecycle purpose क्या है इसका, right? And that is to transition blobs from hot to cool to archive, right? You can also delete them. You can create the rule कि delete कर दो, right? This was an interesting one. I didn't discuss in the class, but nobody put it there also. Apply rules to filtered paths in the storage account. क्या आप बता सकते हो to आपने कहाँ पे ये rule apply करना है, right? Where do you want to apply this rule in the storage path? किस container में, किस folder में, whatever, right? You can specifically pick. It doesn't have to apply on the whole thing. Okay, so that was very nice one. You can make a smaller scope actually. But anyway, again, एक चीज जो मैं बार बार emphasize कर रहा हूँ, make it brief and to the point. You do not need to write paragraph. I mean 10 questions है आपके पास, 11 question थे. अगर आप paragraph लिखने लग जाओगे, you will never be able to answer these things, right? So again and again, I'm emphasizing, be to the point. I'm not looking for long paragraphs. Be to the point and answer what is being asked. That's it. Usage of Azure Blob and Azure Files, ये और I mean mostly इसमें जो था questions came straight from the quiz. I literally copy pasted lot of stuff from quiz. ज़रा से मैंने minor changes की थी. Again to save the time as well. I shortened the questions also. But anyway, again यहाँ पे Azure Files SMB, right, and allows access. it allows sharing of files, allow access from anywhere. यहाँ पे it is not from anywhere, it's unstructured, and access at massive scale. ये हमने पढ़ा था streaming के लिए, these kind of things, it blob is used, right? फिर उसकी applications है ये. Lot of guys put Azure files is used for lift and shift. No, it is not. That's not the part. क्या कहते हैं वो चीज़ है. It is used in lift and shift, right? Because आप वो फाइल जो है आप कॉपी कर देते हो उसके अंदर स्टोरेज के अंदर, right? फाइल सर्वर्स हैं उनको आप सिंक्रोनाइज कर देते हो तो उसके अंदर Azure files get used quite a bit. ये मैंने बताया था ये शेयर्ड फाइल है. You can attach to number of virtual machines and share the files, right? और यहाँ पे any kind of executables, zip files, anything that needs to be shared from different virtual machines, आप उसको Azure files में डाल दो. It's a common repository, right? That's what it is. Again, understand the idea. तो ये सारी चीज़ें आप pretty much idea is exactly same, that you are accessing it from multiple places. So Azure files is the way to go, right? With the easy copy and Azure file sync. So this is the synchronizing files between Azure and on-premises files, right? Cloud tiering is essentially it basically tells you कि कुछ data मैंने on-prem रखना है and infrequent data I can send it to the cloud, right? So you can free up space on premises. जो आपकी infrequent files and they are sitting over there. But it creates a link. ये मैंने क्लास में बताया था. It creates a link. तो आपको फाइलें सारी नज़र आ रही होती हैं. But they are not sitting. It's kind of like what OneDrive does, right? OneDrive में आप देखोगे सारी फाइल्स नज़र आ रही होंगी. But it shows an icon कि ये local है कि cloud पे है. And you double click, it downloads and show it to you, right? So very similar behavior. और ये लोकल सर्वर अगर फेल हो जाए, क्रैश हो जाए, आप नया सर्वर बनाओ, उसके ऊपर Azure file sync इंस्टॉल करो, and again it will synchronize all files from cloud to your local server, right? So it's very, very nice from that perspective. Easy copy, it is from on-prem to storage or storage to on-prem from Azure. Whether it's files or blob storage, doesn't matter, right? It can copy from anywhere. Storage account, right? It's not saying it's blobs or files. So anywhere the files are, AZ copy can copy from and copy to, and it can keep this in you can synchronize in one direction, right? You can have it. I've never used it to synchronize the capability. Generally, we use Azure File Sync, but you can do this one. I personally have never tried the one-way sync. Question number 4 was very, very brief. Again, everyone put whole paragraphs on app service plan and app service. I did not ask that. एक चीज मैं बार बार emphasize कर रहा हूँ. Read the question. Read what I am asking. Read what is being asked. It is a very critical skill that you have to learn, and you have to, make it part of your system of thinking, right? Okay, what question is being asked? Don't just look at the words and start answering. I have to read whole page to get that one point कि लिखा है कहीं पे कि नहीं कि did you understand what is being asked, and you waste your time also. I'm not concerned with your app service understanding or app service plan. I'm asking a very, very specific thing, right? So relationship is app service plan provides the compute and features for the Azure app service. You can write in many different ways, but the point is that's all that is being asked. क्या relationship है दो चीजों की? Then the second one was standard, and third one was I guess you can write it any way. It's just it's just one of the setting on the setting itself, right? When you're creating a variable or some setting for the slot, उसकी अपनी setting होती है that says is it slot specific or not, right? You can mark it as slot setting, then it doesn't get copied. ये slot setting होती है वहाँ पे check mark जो UI के ऊपर है. You can make it and but basically you have to say that you have to configure it to be slot specific. However you worded it, I gave full credit. जिसने भी थोड़ा सा related point लिखा था. Again, a very brief simple question. ये मैंने क्लास में पढ़ाया था, ये मैंने रिव्यू सेशन के अंदर ही बताया था. रिव्यू सेशन अगर आप लोग देख लिया करो, इट विल रियली हेल्प यू. आई मीन, आई थिंक आई सी दिस थिंग, आई कवर्ड एवरीथिंग, but I think a lot of people simply did not look at it. So I did not ask what is CNAME or A record. I asked, when you are creating a custom domain for the web app, when would you create a CNAME record and A record? अगर आपका नॉन आइसोलेटेड ASP है, इट्स CNAME, क्योंकि माइक्रोसॉफ्ट ने डोमेन में दे रहा है, आपको डोमेन नेम मिल रहा है ऑलरेडी, सो दैट्स व्हाई यू विल पिक दिस वन. अदरवाइज आइसोलेटेड के अंदर इट्स प्राइवेट IP है, उसके ऊपर आप A record बना सकते हो. What is the difference between isolated? Again, no need to explain these things. Just provide the answer what is being asked. The difference is that isolated has dedicated network as well, besides dedicated compute, right? This is the difference. That's it. So always read the question. It will save you from lot of headache and save you lot of time. It'll save me a lot of time as well, like trying to see how you have answered it. Question number 6, ये पूरा का पूरा I spent about 45 minutes in the review session. Class भी मैंने करवाया था ये, but I spent lot of time on a question which is very much similar, right? तो यहाँ पे हमने कहा it's about 16 million addresses total. 8 को 20 में डिवाइड करने, /8 को /20 सबनेट्स, तो /20 सबनेट इज 2 raised to power 12, तो 4096 is the size of each subnet. अभी कितने होंगे? Total addresses divided by subnet size. This is 4096. That means you're going to have 4096 subnets of /20 size. ठीक है. अब साइज क्या है हमारा? अब साइज यहां से निकल आएगा कि मुझे पता है कि जो 0 to 255 है, 256 एड्रेसेस अगर मैं इसमें डिवाइड कर दूं, मुझे 16 चाहिए एक सबनेट के अंदर. 16 256 एड्रेसेस चाहिए. तो दिस विल गो फ्रॉम 0 to 15 एंड दिस विल गो फ्रॉम 0 to 55. ठीक है. 16 टाइम्स मुझे 256 एड्रेसेस मिलेंगे, एंड दैट इज 4096, एंड देन इट कंटिन्यूज, राइट? 16 to 31, 32 to 47, and on and on and on, right? ये पूरा मैंने कवर किया था, इसकी डिवीजन का तरीका सारा कुछ. इट वाज वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड. रियली 5 मिनट का सवाल था ये. वी कवर्ड इन, आई मीन आई टुक अबाउट 45-50 minutes एक्सप्लेनिंग दिस प्रॉब्लम. इसको /16 में करना है, अगेन सेम थिंग. इसके 65,536 एड्रेसेस हैं. आपने डिवाइड किया, आपको 256 सबनेट्स मिले, और एक का साइज 256 है. तो सॉरी 256 of /16. तो /16 is 65536. How it is 10000 to 10255. Yeah, that was also straightforward. ये 1, then like this, and 2, and then go all the way to 255. तो सारे डिवाइड हो जाएंगे इसके ऊपर, right? Again, we covered this in great detail. Still lots and lots of people, I think 90% people got it wrong. This was again straight from the notes, and I think I asked in the quiz as well. Nothing to talk about. Again, यहाँ पे B part में again lot of people got it wrong. When would you attach managed disk versus Azure files to containers? This question is not about managed disk and Azure files. This is about when would you use either one with containers, right? And it can be with containers or with VMs, doesn't really matter. Concept is same. अगर मैंने क्लास में बताया था, रिव्यू में बताया था, फिर से I emphasize this. लोकल कैलकुलेशन करनी है आपने, लोकल स्टोरेज है पॉड का, you attach the managed disk for the local storage. right? उसके अपना यूजेज के लिए. And if you have the central location for the application, यहाँ पे सारे pods are writing, you will use all containers, right? To save application data in a central location, you use Azure files. Again, question was very specific. When would you attach these things to containers? To containers, right? Read the question. Again, 90% people did not read this. I got almost एक पेज का आंसर लिखा था इसका about Azure files versus managed disks, right? Um, this was straightforward, I think. Again, मैंने काफ़ी lenient grading किया. If you got the points, high level idea, I've tried to give you full points. यहाँ पे we covered these things in the quiz as well. A mount path, folder path where mounted storage will be made available, right? QA proxy maintains network rules. आपने pods को expose करना है network के ऊपर, you use QA proxy. Or kubelet ensures the pods are running. Essentially, it is the pod or system pod or Kubernetes service running on each node that has all the definitions for the pods, YAML files, and it knows how to keep these things running and scaling and all those things, right? So you can put this in any way your understanding is, and I've given full points whoever did it. ये क्लास में काफ़ी ज़्यादा पढ़ा था, मैंने इसके ऊपर डिटेल में बताया था. 3 options synchronizing password hash. So we can either choose not to sync, we can choose one-way sync from on-premise Active Directory to Entra ID, and two-way sync, which is that Entra ID में अगर आपने password change किया, it synchronize back to on-premise Active Directory. And how and why secure score is calculated. उसने हर vulnerability को rating score देना होता है, और क्यों दिया है? ताकि आपको एक high level view बताए कि हमारी environment की क्या security in a 1 to 100 scale, right? Kind of like that. You can put it in many different ways. I have given you my thoughts. We discussed in the class as well. You can do whatever you want, however you want to say it, right? ये क्वेश्चन क्विज का भी था, ये मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा एम्फसाइज किया था इन द रिव्यू सेशन. स्टिल मैनी पीपल गॉट इट रॉन्ग. एंट्रा आईडी, HTTP based authentication and authorization service, and enter domain service. Domain controllers give it to you as PaaS service, right, to support legacy apps. And we mention what legacy apps are, which require LDAP based authentication, right, just like on premises, which cannot use Entra ID, HTTP based, right? Here I can draw and briefly explain the process of sync of EDDS objects. This is on-premise AD. To enter domain services, this is enter domain services, right? कई लोगों ने ये बनाया नहीं था, यहाँ पर लिखा था virtual network बनाया था. It's not about virtual network. This is about that. This is enter domain services. तो इसमें we covered in great detail कि on-premise AD can do bi-directional synchronization of users, password hashes, and groups, right? And from Entra ID to Enter domain services, you have one-way synchronization of these things. It doesn't come back. You cannot make changes over here. It's considered read-only from that perspective, okay? Zero trust security model that assumes breach. That means something bad has happened. So you lock down everything, right? And every request must be verified. तो इसके 3 principles हैं. Verify explicitly, use least privileges. जिसको भी आपने entry दिया है उसको उतनी ही दें कि जितनी access दें, जितनी उसको require अपने काम करने के लिए, nothing more. Or assume breach. That means everything is locked down by default, right? We will verify every time, right? Extreme, like red alert kind of thing, right? It's that kind of thing. Everything must be checked. इसमें से मैंने वो B part निकाल दिया क्योंकि it was already there. I mistakenly copied it. over here as well. तो which was secure score वाला था, ये वाला part था, ठीक है. और ये again lot of stuff is straight from the quiz, and unfortunately many of you guys got it wrong, unfortunately. और ये दूसरा वाला was just so it was just I mean lot of things were just free points, but still anyway. So this was the solution basically. Let me just stop.